Hey, Dr. Dave here. So I want to remind you about something that you already know, that you've seen probably hundreds or thousands of times. You've seen posts about it. I'm sure you've read articles about it. And how I'm presenting it here is controlling the controllables and adapting to the uncontrollables. Control the things that we have control of and adapting and not worrying about so much the things we can control. So, what are some things that we can control that are contributory towards our health or well being, that contribute to our happiness, that contribute to our health, that contribute to us being a better version of ourselves, so to speak? A lot of things. So, we have control over what we eat and what we drink, what we put in our body. Processed foods or not processed foods, plant-based foods, things contributing to our health and well-being, or things taking away from it. We have control of that every day because you make the choice of what you put in your body, whether it's food, whether it's chemicals, whether it's putting stuff on your body as well. So think about the things you're eating, putting in your body, because that's going to affect your health and well-being. You have control of that. We have control of that. How about what we drink? Are you drinking enough water? Are you drinking too much soda? Study just came out that said if you drink more than 2 sodas a day, you increase your risk of cancer or health problems or something like that. I mean, that's common sense. We know that processed foods, things of that nature that don't have anything really of value to them, are going to take away, detract from our health and well-being. So, what are you putting in your body? What are you eating? What are you drinking? Because you've heard me say this, and I'll say this over and over again. If you've eaten yourself into a health problem, you can eat yourself out of it. If you've eaten yourself into high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, obesity, inflammation, whatever, there's so many health problems that are the result of eating poorly, that if you can eat yourself into those, you can eat yourself out of those. Basically, it's common sense, right? Doing the exact opposite or very different than what you're doing right now. You have control over that. We have control of that. How about what you watch on TV? What are you putting in your head when you're watching TV? How about what you read, what you listen to? These things are going to form your beliefs, your opinions, what you think, what you believe, what you grapple onto. Right? It said that we're the average of the 5 people we hang around with the most, or what we listen to. So what are you putting in your head? What are you listening to? Who are you hanging around with? Who are you influencers? Are you hanging around with people that are lifting you up, that are building you up, that are challenging you to be a better version of yourself? Are you hanging around people or letting people into your world that are stressing you out, creating drama, and putting a hole in your balloon? You don't want that. You have control over that. You can kick people out. You can let people in. It depends on what you're going to do about it. How are you going to live that aspect of your life? So you have control of who you let into your life, what you read, what you listen to, what you watch on TV. That's going to have an impact on your health and well-being. All right, how active you are. Exercise. How much do you exercise? How often do you exercise? What exercises do you do? You have control over that. Right? Again, who are you hanging around with? Behaviors. How are you behaving in certain situations? You have a choice, or you have control over how you behave, how you react to things, how you don't react to things, what you say, what you don't say. You have choices and control over those things. So things you don't have control over, a couple of examples. One is what ifs. What if this? What if that? You don't know. How about the weather? You have no control over the weather. How many people run their day about the weather? You have a good day or a bad day depending on what the weather is outside. You have no control of it. You could have a great day on a rainy day. Depends on you, your attitude, what you choose to do that day, and how you choose to be productive and show up in your world in that day, on that day. Right? You have no control of the weather. But The things that we don't have control over, they zap our energy. They lower our confidence. They shake our self-esteem. They create fatigue and unhappiness. They can make us lose opportunities if we're focused on those things and we're not focused on the things that are actually going on good that we have control over, that can move us in the direction of our goals, our happiness, our success, our abundance, whatever, right? It take away from our focus and our creativity. If you focus on things you can't control, it takes away from our life. Why do we want to live in that world? Why would we want to live there? Don't check yes to that Evite. I'm not coming to that. You have control over that stuff. Adapt. Part of our life is able to adapt to things, right? If we don't adapt, we die. Part of life, living, even our health, is our body's ability, our ability decision-wise to adapt to certain situations, how we react and how we respond. Sometimes we need to react, which is a guttural, instinctive, kind of reactive thing. There's no thought involved. It's an innate, sometimes, reaction. A lion jumps out, someone goes to hit you or attack you, yeah, you need to move. It's not the time to think and contemplate about something. You have to think and survive. You don't have to think. You want to react and survive. But we have a choice sometimes in how we respond to people or respond to things. Sometimes it's shutting up and not saying anything. Sometimes it is swallowing our pride. Sometimes it is not being judgmental or being more loving in those areas. So the whole purpose of this little video was to remind you and to take inventory on focusing on the things you can control and making those better, and learning to adapt and not worry about the things that we can control. Sometimes we have to be in the presence of things we can't control or be involved in things we can't control. Again, weather or relationships sometimes or whatnot. But you have to learn to adapt and how to deal with that situation and not let it cut you down, and yet deal with it, adapt to it, focus on the things you can control, how you react, how you respond to things, and just make your life better. Here, I printed something out. I just Googled it literally before I did this. 50 things you can control right now, right? I thought this was an interesting thing. I'm going to read it to you. All right. How many times you smile today? How much effort you exert at work? Your level of honesty? How well you prepare? How you act on your feelings? How often you say thank you? When you pull out your wallet for luxuries, whether or not you give someone the benefit of the doubt, how you interpret situations, whether or not you complete with people around you, whether or not you compete with people around you, how often you notice and appreciate small acts of kindness, whether you listen or wait to talk, whether you walk away from a conversation, how nice you are to yourself in your head. One of the biggest conversations we have with ourselves is in our head. Do you know the biggest weapon we have is the 6 inches between our ears? And if we choose, or you choose, to know how to master this brain, it can make you or break you. It can help you create success and happiness beyond your wildest dreams, or it can cut you down and lock you in a prison that you put yourself in mentally, and you lock the door and key and you throw the key away. Learn to master your mind. Learn to master your thoughts, all right? Whether you think positive or negative thoughts, you have a control and choice over. Whether or not you form expectations of people. The type of food you eat. When you answer someone's question or email or call. Again, these are things we have control over. How many new things you try. How much exercise you get. How many times you swear in traffic. Whether or not you plan for the weather. How much time you spend trying to convince people you're right. How often you think about your past. How many negative articles you read. The attention you give your loved ones when you see them. How much you enjoy the things you have right now. Whether or not you communicate something that's on your mind. How clean or uncluttered you keep your space. What books you read, how well you network at social events, how deeply you breathe when you experience stress, how many times you admit you don't know something and then learn something new, how often you use your influence to help people instead of focusing on building your influence, when you ask for help, which commitments you keep and cancel, how many risks you take, how creative, innovative you are in your thinking, how clear you are when you explain your thoughts, when you formulate a new plan or act on your existing one, how much information you get before you make a decision, how much information you share with people, whether you smoke or drink, unless you're an alcoholic, in which case I'm not qualified to offer you advice, whether or not you judge other people, whether you smell good or bad, how much of what other people say you believe, how quickly you try again after you fall, how many times you say, I love you, how much rest you get at night. I mean, how many things can you pick here and continue on with a list like this? The bottom line is we can control so much to make our life better, to make our happiness greater, to make our relationships improved upon and great. We have so much that we can control, and yet sometimes we focus so much on the things we can't control, and those run and ruin our life. The challenge for you, for me, is to focus on the things we can control, make them better, work at them, become better versions of ourselves, because when we're better versions of ourselves, our life is better, we experience life better, and the people around us will change. How does the saying go? Something along the lines of, it's something along the lines of, the world will change around you when your perspective changes. Something like that. I'm messing it up, but look it up. I think it's a Gandhi quote. I just destroyed that one. But in any case, do this exercise. Pay attention to what you're doing every day. Take inventory, watch your thoughts, watch your language, watch what you're watching, watch what you're listening to, pay attention to it, do better, all right? And when we do this, life will be better. See you in the next video.